I'm Wen, and I'm one of the psychologists at Solana Psychology. A lot of the clients that I see usually present with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, people who may be going through a life change and having difficulty adjusting to that, trauma, and interpersonal difficulties, which can be interpersonal difficulties with family, friends, partners, work colleagues. And I guess my role would be to really walk alongside you to try to get a deeper sense of who you are and how these difficulties might be impacting you and your internal emotional world. What are some things that are going on a subconscious level or unconscious level? How it's then impacting yourself and how it's then impacting maybe the relationships in your life. So in sessions, this could look like exploring yourself, exploring your sense of self and identity, and again, getting a really deeper insight into what's beneath the surface. So we can really start to see sometimes that different parts show up, and I guess you can think of it like little entities or little humans inside of you that are operating in your internal system, and have been functioning this way and surviving this way, but it could be that something may not be, working as well as it used to be or as smoothly as it used to be, and maybe creating some disruption in your internal world. So you might maybe get a sense that I follow or use a predominantly IFS framework, so that's the internal family systems, with the assumption that there are no bad parts and all parts are welcome in this space. And so doing parts work can often feel like talk therapy, and I think it's important to acknowledge that therapy does take time, and it does require time and space to really allow these parts to feel safe to show up. I imagine that a lot of these parts have had such strong defenses and haven't had the space and time to really feel safe to show up. So, therapy will take time to really get to know these parts, allow them to show up when they show up and how they show up, and then to really take the time to understand them and get to know them. So having and maintaining a positive and relationship or positive and healthy relationship in your life is important. So I guess this is also applies to the relationship that you have with yourself. So, a lot of the therapy will be, I guess, focusing on really building the internal relationship with yourself, and then, how it relates to other people, but also, again, really getting to know what's happening in your internal emotional world. And coming from a migrant background, I really relate to the cultural complexities of, how one might interact with themselves, interact with their emotional world, and really, I guess understand that, there are cultural backgrounds or cultural interactions that someone might have in terms of how they also function in the cultural context that they're in as well. So I hope to bring a culturally safe and informed lens and framework into the therapy space as well. And look, if this all lands with you, Gal, and if this all resonates with you, I welcome you to join me in the space, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.